Welcome. Vlog number 26. It's June 27th, Monday. Usually I don't spend a lot of time on these vlogs covering one news story. Usually I like to kind of, clump them all into one big talking point, but this particular story I read out of the San Francisco Chronicle today made me really kind of angry and irritated, and kind of justifies all of my arguments I've had about how brain dead people are when it comes to the world around us. And this is specific to California. The title of this article is Poll: More California Voters Ignoring Politics. And it's written by Aaron Alday, a Chronicle staff writer, released in today's paper. And I'm going to read the entire article and then have a couple comments. But it says, a growing proportion of California voters is not paying attention to politics and what's happening in government, as they are increasingly drawn to the internet as their primary source of news, according to field poll results released today. 74% of voters said that they follow politics most or some of the time, down from 84% who said the same thing 3 decades ago. Meanwhile, 1 in 4 voters follows politics and government news only now and then, or hardly at all, according to the poll. That's up from 20% of voters who said the same thing in 1999 and in 1995, and 16% in 1979. Quote, these people are these are people who are interested enough in the process to get on the registered rolls, but they're just not paying attention, said field poll director Mark DiCamilio. It really doesn't surprise me that segment is growing. You look at the media sources people are using, and it's going to require a different business model. You need to reach people in different ways now, unquote. Television was the most popular medium for getting news about public affairs and government, with 56% of voters citing it as their main source of political information. TV was followed by the internet with 44% of voters, and newspapers with 33%. The internet was the primary news source, beating out television for voters ages 18 to 39. Among news outlets, CNN was the most popular source, followed closely by local news stations and Fox. The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and Comedy Central were the main sources for news of 8% of the voters. TV viewing habits aside, political scientists said Saturday that they blame the internet in large part for waning interest in government affairs, especially among younger voters. While it's true that people may have access to much more information online by watching less TV and reading fewer newspapers, voters are less likely to stumble across political information that falls outside their realm of interest, said Kimberly Nalder, an associate professor of government at California State University, Sacramento, who helped prepare some of the field poll questions. For example, newspaper readers can't help but see the political articles next to the entertainment story they're reading, she said. The television viewers will be exposed to top political stories of the day while they tune in to the weather. We are only segmenting our access to information because the internet makes it so easy for us to tune in to only what we care about. That means fewer of us end up accidentally coming upon political information, Nalder said. It's not Nadler. There's an Nalder. While major political events and issue of significant public interest, like same-sex marriage, for example, or a race like the 2008 presidential election, will likely draw in even the most indifferent voters. Nalder said she isn't counting on their long-term commitment to politics unless a new means of disseminating, information grabs their attention. Social networking websites like Facebook may be part of the answer, she said. In the meantime, DiCamillo worries that the proportion of voters who aren't paying attention shifts, so will the loyalties of politicians heading in office. Thank you, Bear. It's almost, quote, this is a quote, it's almost as if a quarter of the electorate is really not there for most of the elections, he said. The leadership tends to follow the whims of the smaller and smaller segment who are indeed following what's going on. But that segment may not be reflective of the whole. That has a bearing on politics, unquote. The field poll surveyed 950 California voters by telephone June 3rd to the 13th. The results have a margin of error of 3.3 percentage points. So there you have it, folks. Out of 950 California registered voters, most of them don't really know what's going on in politics. Now, there's a couple things about this poll that I'd like to point out and talk about in the little time I have, the 15 minutes time period I have on this YouTube video. Is that this is not just a random selection of random adults, say ages 18 to 70 years old. These are people who actually are registered to vote in the state of California, which means these people are going to the polls every 4 years or every 2 years or whenever there's an election, and they're voting. But they don't have an interest of what's going on. They're not following what's going on really in the political world most of the time. They're getting their political information while tuning into the weather and while checking out the entertainment story. Yes, the entertainment story, which is so fucking important. Who's fucking who? Who's having babies? Yes, they're getting political information that way. So that's very scary that these people are coming out and voting about things. It's almost like they come out every 4 years and get a cliff note, version of what happened in between those 4 years, and they go and they make an informed decision on who to vote for and what propositions to vote for, and so on and so forth. Now they're talking about also the idea that because of the internet, more people are going and getting their information about, and they're not getting any political information because they don't care about politics. Yet they're registered voters. Follow me here. People who are registered to vote don't follow politics. Anyways, so it said Facebook, like she said, they said Facebook, social network websites like Facebook may be part of the answer. And what's funny is that you go onto Facebook and you post a lot of political stuff, and people get mad at you because you're beating a dead horse. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to be confronted with the facts that shit's fucked up. So, yeah, well, what are you gonna do? Once again, registered voters, not just random adults. I know, Bear's pissed off too. Bear, are you pissed off? Yes. He is pissed off that the voters of California are ill-informed and not informed.
He's not. He's pissed off because he exists.
Well, he's pissed off because he exists, says Natalie, so. Anyways, the other point I wanted to make, and this was the one that really caught my attention because I pay very much attention to the way the liberal youth get their information. The Daily Show with Jon Stewart and Comedy Central were main news sources of news for 8% of voters. 8%, okay? That should be maybe 2% for the stoner idiot voters out there who don't really do anything but sit on their ass and watch Comedy Central. 8% of the voters in California who were a part of this 950 people telephone poll get their news from a comedy show. And we wonder why our country is so fucked up. So yes, go out if you just search, I guess, California voting poll. Recent. It just came out today. You will find this grand story of how screwed California is because the people who vote don't pay attention, or likely don't pay as much attention as they should. So I thought I'd just share that. And here is a link. I'll post the link down here to the story. Right there. Right there. Maybe people will watch this video and go and get informed about this news story rather than watching the next video about chicks in bikinis playing volleyball. Or Beyonce having a baby. Yeah, so that's about it. Vlog 26. California voters, you get the government you deserve. Too bad I'm forced to live in a state that is so fucking brain dead. But God, you love Obama, don't you? Because you don't pay attention to what's going on. Alright, that's it. Bye.